Hi, my name is Drell Hutcherson, and today I want to talk to you about why you should donate to the Salvation Army. Imagine you have nothing to your name and can't afford the clothes on your back, food to feed your family, and the normal necessities to live an average life. You have to stress the fact that you aren't living a normal life, and you have to find the best solution to get you going in the right path. Plenty of parents have to worry about whether or not they can provide for their children and themselves from when they wake up to when they fall asleep. The Salvation Army soothes the minds of these parents by offering them assistance in all aspects. This is a nonprofit organization that gives assistance to people in poverty and provides care for those in need. I'm going to ask you to shift your attention to the slide that's up. Think about your normal daily commutes. Do you see someone randomly sitting on a bench? Do you ever stop to think about what conditions children study or do their homework in? That's just a couple examples of what poverty looks like around us. Mothers are watching their children wake up and go to bed hungry. Fathers are unable to provide clothing for their children to go to school. By donating any dollar amount, you can take pride in knowing that you're making a difference no matter how large or small. The Salvation Army will impact as many people as possible. That could mean providing shelter, food, clothing, soap, or even toothpaste. The next slide puts things into perspective also. Stress weighs heavily on a person's mental health. Anxieties are created or are at an all-time high. There's not enough money to go around for all of the bills and responsibilities, such as gas, food, and etc. The Salvation Army has managed to provide well over 1.6 million nights of shelter so far during the COVID-19 pandemic. Say you had to choose between living in poverty or living a lavish lifestyle. It's pretty obvious what your answer would most likely be. Look at the house on the top left, and now look at the house on the bottom right. Could you imagine having wraparound balconies, fountains in the front yard, or even a landscaper to maintain your lush yard? Of course you can. Those living in poverty probably do not feel capable of dreaming that big. They are stuck trying to keep their heads above water. According to the Salvation Army, they have managed to provide well over 1.6 million nights of shelter so far during the COVID-19 pandemic alone. One in 7 Americans are living in poverty in 2021, according to the 2021 Poverty Projections website. That means that at least one person around you has experienced a life that is harder than most. Over a 4-year span from 2014 to 2018, Ohio's poverty looked like this. Here in Summit County alone, our community suffered with more than 13.1% of our people living below average. The Salvation Army exists to meet human needs wherever, whenever, and however possible. The Salvation Army has a total of 7,565 centers of operation that include medical facilities, training colleges, and camps, according to a 2020 annual report by the Salvation Army. 1,116 thrift shops are available for affordable clothing, including professional attire and school clothing. Out of 143 rehab centers, 158,667 people were served that dealt with substance abuse. In 2020, 16,209,506 tangible items were distributed to those in need. For example, clothing and hygiene items would be distributed to people who were less fortunate. In conclusion, your donation will decrease poverty and a need for the practical necessities. Today I've talked about those impacted by living in poverty, how the Salvation Army provides as a nonprofit organization, and what the Salvation Army will do with your money. Any donation to the Salvation Army will change a life whether you believe it or not. Donate your money at www.salvationarmyusa.org to make a change today. Before I go, I want to talk about a story that hit home for me. The story of Constance. Constance was mentioned on the Salvation Army's website as a hardworking, independent mother who has been providing for herself and her family since the age of 17. I've personally experienced something like this watching my mom. She was in the same predicament, raising my sister and I, working multiple jobs, and felt as though she was stuck by herself doing the best that she could. Constance never expected she would one day need help from the Salvation Army, but they were willing to help and guide her to a more successful path. Your donation can help us make sure that families can continue to be provided for. Without people like you donating towards the future success of our communities, we will continue to see a drop in our economy. What will you do to make a difference? And then I left you with a slide that says, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted.